Like mostly when people think about the morning routine, they obsess about the cool things that they can do in the morning. But I think
Mm-hmm.
another way to approach the morning routine is also think about the things that you do and you should stop doing. Hello, everyone. This is the Human Library Podcast. I'm Mehdi and I'm with Aslan. Today, we're going to talk about morning routines, how we got into building ours, what works in a sense good and bad for us, and we're just gonna share our experiences. Um, so basically, for me, the way I discovered this thing about building your morning routine or building habits was when I read the 5 a.m. Club. That was kind of my first experience. No, actually, I just remember right now, it was not through the book, it was through a video by Matt Diavella. I remember about like morning routines, and I remember watching him waking up at 6 a.m., going to make coffee, and then going to the gym, stuff like that. So it was a bit inspiring for me, like starting the day in in such in such a way of being productive and not just waking up going to work or waking up going to study right away. You do some stuff before. And I think my second experience in which made me think about having a morning routine was reading the 5 a.m. Club. I think it was very interesting back in the day for me because I was already working, and normally my plan was I go to work, and then from work I go directly to the gym, and then I go home, I try to read, and then probably I just become lost on social media until I go to sleep. With the 5 a.m. Club, it was better for me in the sense of I can wake up very early and take advantage of my most productive hours, which is me before going to work, because after working the whole day, you're probably drained, you cannot do much. So for me, waking up at 5, having 1 hour of reading, drinking a coffee, going to the gym, and then going to work was way more productive for me. And also, there are two good things about it is that you start the day with a really good mood and you feel that you own the day when you did everything that you need to do before going to work, for example. The second thing is avoiding this kind of guilt when you're working, you feel tired, and then you start questioning, am I going to go to the gym? I feel a bit tired. And then maybe you go home, you don't go to the gym, and then you start having this guilt of, fuck, I missed the session, or like, I don't feel like reading. So when you do it first thing in the morning, then you feel that you own the day, you got all the tasks done, and then you go to work in a very good mood. You do not expect to have this negotiation phase after work of thinking, am I going, am I not going? So what about you,
Yeah.
Aslan? How did you encounter having a
Yeah.
morning routine?
Yeah. Those are also really good points that you brought up about doing like getting those things out of the way early on in the day so you don't feel guilty. I think that's a huge thing if you're really into like self-improvement and things like that. You can feel guilty during the day, because there's one thing about it is that life is very unpredictable sometimes. So one of the things is about starting your day so early is that you can kind of no one will disturb you, so you're kind of um, these essential things you can get them out of the way. For me, I think um, I I have tried. I have, to be honest, I've never tried the 5 a.m. thing. I've tried to get up early in the day, like 6:30, to do some reading. I generally don't exercise in the mornings. I feel like um, maybe I'm not used to it, but my body is much better in the evenings when it comes, because if for going to the gym, that's what I do. My body feels much better once it's like warmed up a bit and it's been have some food in my system, and I have enough energy. But for things like reading, if you have projects that you're working on, getting them out of the way um, early on, like side projects and things like that, if you have a full-time job and you want to kind of work on things on the side, and you know, life can get busy a lot of the times. So that's a very cool thing that you can do. It requires a lot of discipline, I would say. um, I know I have a lot of friends that do um, these kinds of they try to do these kind of experiments to see how they can be more productive when it comes to working, doing their main job, and also working on the side projects. Because a lot of the times it can be hard for us to just, you know, completely like quit your job and do your thing that you're passionate about full time. There's always that transition period, and it can be very tough. So those things like getting up early in the morning, so you got to go to bed late at night. No, not late, earlier in the night, like 9 or something, and then ideally, right, and then you can get up at 5 and get rid of those things. So that for me is great. Like I've done it for a bit, like study, like doing some extra self-studying, reading. I find that like I maybe it's my discipline thing, but I kind of I'm more productive at like after the work hours. So I usually just I'm totally fine just substituting that early morning time for like late night session, kind of like after dinner. Um, and sometimes it can be tricky if you like have a, you know, a routine, like if you really need to do this thing every single day, it can be really tough, because one of the arguments is that in the evenings um you're in the evenings you can be distracted a lot easier. You have to be somewhere, if you still want to have a social life. So that's kind of um the negative side of doing it in the evenings. But for me, I'm still kind of I'm think I'm more productive in the evenings. I also try to like, when it comes to those kinds of like, because obviously if you want to go to the gym, that's like a physical activity. It can be different, because we can say that if your work is particularly tough, you know, um you could do it in the mornings. You feel fresher, you feel ready for the day. For me, I kind of like to do that in the evening. But also when it comes to there's kind of like two aspects to this, right? One is like your mind, and one is your body. And if you think of it like, it's just important to think about it from your perspective, like what makes you feel better as well, what makes you the most productive. And I'm kind of, I think I'm touching on a topic around this daily morning routine thing. That's kind of like, a lot of people can kind of like try to fit themselves into a certain template, where you read that it's good, or you watched a video, that okay, some person does this routine and it's great, like they're super productive, it's great for them. um, First thing about that is that I think a lot of the times those things may or may not be true. I mean, the video is meant to kind of inspire you, inform you about something, but a lot of the times we project things on the people that we see, so it becomes a strange like super ego imposing like a voice on you, like you're not going to be successful if you don't do this routine that this guy that you watch that you really like on YouTube, or something like that. At least that's what could happen to me. I think like I could get myself into that mindset, you know, especially if they start like talking about kind of uh yeah, like making it really like a life and death thing, kind of. um the options are a lot more flexible, in my opinion. And at the end of the day, it comes down to not like trying to fit into a template that you think is cool, but try to work out something that works for you, um, And there are many variables here, right? Many things that you can do to try to stay more productive, maximize your output creatively, or however it may be. The kind of job that I'm doing is more creative. And for me, for example, a lot of the times, like, I need time to be creative, kind of. So for me, a lot of the times, like, when it's kind of a nighttime, I can be more creative. Um, at least that's how it works for me. So I try to do that, even if I can't do it every single day. Um, most work days, like work weeks, I can manage to do it. And yeah. So I think, like, one thing is that take a bird's view, like bird's eye view on your um, situation, what is your goal, what are you trying to achieve, and do that. Morning wise, what I've kind of I had many different morning routines, and what it kind of looks like for me now is um, I like to do a breathing exercise the first thing I do in the morning. I've been doing that on and off, but I'm more diligent about it now, and it helps me to wake up, helps me to have that energy boost. And it's a Wim Hof's breathing technique that I do. I do it straight in bed. When I wake up, I just kind of start doing the breathing exercise. It's kind of you can obviously read about it and look it up, but I'm just going to quickly explain. So it's you're breathing in more air than you're letting out. So what you're doing is oxygenating your body, your whole body, and it kind of gets your heart rate up as well. And you do that like 30 times, then you let out almost all of your air and you hold your breath, and you hold it for however long you can until you need to breathe. But what happens is you can do it longer and longer every round because you're actually oxygenating your whole body. So your body doesn't need the air in your lungs. It pulls the oxygen from your blood and from everywhere else in your body. So you'll be surprised how long you can hold your breath when you do that. For me, it just helps me, like, psychologically, I think, at this point, to set me up for the day. So it's kind of like a ritual in a way, where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm pumped. Um, and it also has a lot of other, like, benefits, immune system benefits, like helps your body to clean itself from the toxins, and there are many benefits that were actually studied by researchers. So there are papers you can read about that method. um, I do that. I also started integrating cold showers in the morning. I've done them in the past, and I have been very diligent about it in the past. I kind of stopped, and now I'm back on it again. Like, uh, about a week ago, I started, and it's been very nice. I find that, for me personally, um, I've realized that it helps me with um, it's something challenging, kind of, because you're getting out of your warm bed, and you're like, it's kind in the winter especially, it can be a bit colder, and uh, you're getting out of your bed, you're going in the shower. I just take a normal shower, and then I end it with like 1-2 minutes of cold. um, and it's like something that you have to set yourself, you're like, mentally prepare yourself, kind of. And it's very nice because you feel like, okay, your day starts with a victory, kind of. And it's super cool. If you're having kind of a stressful day-to-day tasks that you have to do, that you have to be somewhere, you have to do this, that, and it can be quite hectic, which is what it's kind of like for me right now. um, you can you start your day with a victory, and there are other hosts of other benefits that you don't really notice, but if you read about it, the benefits of cold showers, you understand why it helps. It's kind of it actually like helps to improve your nervous system to be more stress resilient, because getting the cold shower on yourself, or any kind of, some people do cold ice baths, which is next level, but any kind of this kind of cold exposure, direct cold exposure, it works to boost your nervous system. So you're in a way, you're just more stress prone. Your body knows how to calm down in stressful moments, because what happens when you hit the cold water hits you, you get stressed. Your body has a stress response. You start breathing in like this, and it's like a shock state. And then all you can think about is like, I need to survive. All your thoughts are stopping, and you're like, you just focused on the water. You have to focus on your breathing if you want to do it properly. Don't hyperventilate. And just idea is to calm down by the end. Like by the end of the 1 minute that you're taking it, calm down, and you calm down, and this is where you're chill, and it's all good, and then you're done. And that's kind of, keep doing that. It's like, it's amazing. It's a really cool thing. At least for me right now, I think the main benefits I get from it is psychological, and yeah, it just helps me to prepare me for the day. Other benefits are, if you have some autoimmune disorders, if you get sick often, you can try that to boost your immune system. So that's kind of, and then I'm ready, and then I go out and I go to work. And that's kind of how my daily routine looks like right now. I talked for quite a bit now, I think. Do you have anything
Quite
to
a
add,
bit.
Medhi?
Do you call that quite a bit? Okay, but good
I had a
good
monologue
point.
about
Good,
my life.
yeah. Good point about the cold shower. That's obviously something we need to discuss when it comes to morning routines. I think it's also very helpful for me to do cold showers. The difference is I don't take a normal shower and then switch to cold. I do cold from the beginning, which is
Mm,
obviously harder. But it's good. I get the feeling of, starting the day with a victory. Obviously, there are many benefits about having cold showers. I think the first trigger for me was also Matt Diavella to watch. I watched his video of I've done, because he has this series of videos of I've done something for 30 days, and that's what I like also about his
yeah,
approach of building systems into his life. He would try something for a whole month and then figure out if he actually want to do it. I remember he's a big fan of coffee, and he stopped drinking coffee for a whole month just for the experience, but then he got back to it. He was like, I'm wasting my life if I'm not drinking coffee. But cold showers, that was very interesting for me to approach. Especially, I used to do it in the morning after gym. So I used to go to the gym in the morning
mm,
and then end the workout session with cold showers, and it was amazing. Obviously, it reduces stress, as you said, because then you just need to survive. That's your survival instinct. It's quite aligned with, you cannot think about depression if you're hungry or something like that. When we
yeah,
have our survival
yeah,
instinct, we don't think too much about, like, I have to go to work now, I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. When the cold shower hits you, you just think about I need to survive,
yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it helps to reduce stress. Another thing about starting the day with a victory, I was watching this guy, I think his name is Brent Scullion. He does like motivational videos. He has an like a solo podcast, and he was talking about starting the day with a victory. And he was talking about, when the alarm goes on and then you go and sneeze, and sorry, you
Yeah,
snooze. What the
yeah,
fuck? Okay, when you snooze the alarm,
yeah,
when you click on snooze, and then it's
yeah,
like you already started the day with a loss because you made the decision of waking up at a certain time, and then it's like you
yeah,
completely,
yeah,
like you already started the day with a bad move, which is not keeping the word
yeah,
to yourself that you're going to wake up at this time. And then if you delay waking
yeah,
up, you're going to delay many other things, or probably you're not going to do what you're supposed to do in the morning.
yeah,
So thinking about
Yeah.
even small things in the day, like starting the day with making up your bed or any small win that you can do as a form of habit, it helps you make the day
Mm-hmm.
productive because you feel that you're already stacking some small wins. Then the day is going good, and you need to do a bit more.
Definitely.
Um, so yeah, building morning
Yeah, it's
routines is
those.
very. It's my turn for the monologue. No, just go.
No, I was saying the small wins is a really, it's a huge part of keeping yourself like mentally in a good place, you know, like having that wave of like uh I guess I want to say success, you know, you're like
Mm,
they because they build up the small wins, but you don't really see it. But yeah, that's just all I wanted to add. You can go
all
ahead.
right, that's fine. I think I wanted to say something about the morning routines themselves. As you said in the beginning, when you watch a video of someone explaining their morning routine, for example, you don't have to follow everything they're saying. You obviously need to test. It's same as we talked about in the episode of self improvement. Um,
Yeah.
that you need to test different things to see what really works better for you. There are many
Mm-hmm.
successful slash productive people who have completely different morning
Yeah.
routines. And Jocko Willing, for example, he starts the day with working out, but he doesn't meditate, right? And then you have people who go
Yeah.
to the gym, like Andrew Huberman, and meditate. And you have people who
Yeah.
only meditate; they don't go to the gym in the morning. And it's really whatever works best for you. I remember this guy watching a video talking about his book, but I didn't read the book. I think it's called The Miracle Morning. And this guy just heard the best
Mm.
thing to do in the morning and he accumulated all of them. I think he starts the day with working out, journaling, meditating, like doing all these cool things that you can do in the morning. And he called it the Miracle Morning. But I felt that's for me, this approach is a bit too much. Like you can at least split if you want to do stuff like this, like you can make the journaling as a form of reflection at night. You don't have to do it in the morning if you're already meditating. Like you cannot just
Yeah.
try to be extra like hyper productive in the morning doing all these things, and at some point it's not gonna feel enjoyable, like doing something for yourself in the morning. It's like a whole list of different tasks
Yeah.
that you need to do, and then you're probably gonna be tired. You're not gonna do any productive work after this
Yeah.
miracle morning.
That's very good. That's such a good point. Yeah. Yeah, because like there's one thing about that is that I thought about and I just realized is that um when you like there's something I don't like about that the way the phrasing is like the miracle morning. It's like the one problem that I have with that is that it puts so much importance on this on your morning in a like subconsciously. It's like after you read that you're like, okay, like I need to do this and then it's gonna be so good for me. Like, yeah, you start believing like it's a magic pill, which that's what I don't like about those kind of things. It's like it builds in your head the importance of it if you're not careful, because um, one way to mess up something is to make it super important in your head.
Yeah.
That's what I've been learning over and over again. It's like one way to like make something more difficult for yourself, more like increase the stakes, make it a big deal, uh, is to put a lot of importance on this one thing that should be so simple. Like
Mm.
it's that maybe it could become simple at some point if you keep doing it, but like if you feel like straight up that this is too much, like probably not a good idea to start it that way. Like you're probably there's going to be a day where you won't be able to do it, or it's not going to be up to the standard that you were expecting your morning routine, and you're just going to end up feeling shitty and then you're on the downward slope. Like, so I think one thing, and this is also connecting to the tiny habits idea, is that it's good to not don't take this thing as a big chunk of like miracle morning. Just simple, like, uh, what do I need to do? Oh, I have a side project I want to work on. Okay, I'll get up like an hour earlier today and I'll do that. And then I'll have my breakfast, do whatever I do normally. That's a much lower threshold that you can do. And then in your head, psychologically, you're not going to be thinking about it the day before, like, oh, I got to get up tomorrow and do this thing, because it. And if you are, make it even simpler. Like, in my opinion, like, it should be, the reason why I'm sticking to the routine that I'm doing now is because it's like I don't think about it like the night before. I just go to bed, and when I wake up, it's like second nature to me. Like, oh, I want to do this breathing exercise. Like, I want to. It's not like, it's like super challenging or something. It's like I know I want to do this, I like it, and I know it's going to help me. Like, that's a very powerful stimulus to do it. And then same thing with the cold shower. It's like, but again, if I don't do it, it's okay. Like, I don't, for me, if I for some reason, sometimes I may not have time, like I got up and maybe there's an emergency or something. If I can't do it, or like, if I'm sick, like, so when you're sick you can't take a cold shower, for example, it's okay. It's not gonna ruin my day and put me in a negative experience, negative zone, where I'm like, because as soon as you the importance that you build up, it's like kind of this thing here, and then when you don't live up to it, you start getting on a negative slope, and then you attract more negative energy to yourself. You're kind of, it's harder to recuperate from that. If my kind of philosophy on that is just make it simple. So if you can't do it, it's okay. Your day, you didn't fuck up your day. Like, it's fine. And when it comes to very important things in your life, you can put more importance on those, because a morning start of your morning shouldn't be a life and death struggle. It's like, it should be more like, um I don't know, if you're like sharpening your weapon before a fight or something, something like that. Like, yeah, sure, if you don't sharpen it well, it's gonna be a bit more challenging to slay the monster, but you'll still pull through.
That's a good example. But I might disagree a bit, in the sense of, that's how you also build discipline. If you're planning to go to the gym, for example, let's say 5 times a week, and you go before work because you have some extra work to do after work, or meeting other people, and you built a plan for the week, and then you miss the first one and you miss the second one. Obviously, like, discipline wise, you're lacking that. You can tolerate it, you can feel that it's okay, it's fine, but then if you keep tolerating the fact that you miss these gym sessions, then it means that you don't really have a habit. You're not really taking care of your health. So I think the approach is always difficult when it comes to balancing what to tolerate when it comes to things that you're doing, and at the same time staying consistent. So I think it's like the same thing that we talked with Nada about, like, what's a real blocker. If you wake up in the morning and
Yeah.
you know that you need to do something else that is crucial, therefore you're gonna miss the gym session, then it's fine to tolerate this kind of thing. But if you just wake up, you know that you have the ability to go, but then you're just checking your phone the whole time, then let the guilt be there. I think it's fair. Because you're missing something important, and obviously it's bad to say that it's gonna set you in a bad mood during the whole day, because you're gonna feel that you missed the gym session, and like, you should take it a bit lighter. There is a fine line between tolerating and staying consistent. It's always difficult to the way you perceive these things, but also you don't have to go to the gym in the morning. You can be flexible enough to move stuff if they're not really in their place during that week according to your planning, your schedule, your work, whatever. um so yeah, something else about waking up in the morning, knowing that you have a routine. Once you keep doing that and what works for you, it feels lighter. Like, yeah, like your routine, for example, the way you talked about it doesn't feel like I need to do a morning routine. It feels like something that you do every day, and it just became something systematic in you that you do it without thinking about it the day before. So yeah, for me, for example, meditation works good for me, but also doesn't work good for me in the morning. For example, when I wake up, I go
Mm-hmm.
to the gym, I take a shower, and then I need to meditate before going to work. I don't need to sit and meditate and be stressed about, okay, if I go 1 minute beyond the 10 minutes of
Yeah.
meditation, then I'm going to be rushing to go to work. Like, I don't need any stressful factors when I'm meditating. I don't need to be
Yeah.
rushing to meditate. So for me, it's better to do it like during my lunch break, for example, because I already worked, and then, like, the stress starts going slightly up, and then you want to like take a break to just maybe it's good in the sense of also for me like splitting the day, like, okay, you did well in the morning, now, like, chill, you still have the whole day, something like that. So there are good things that work for you, but also think master the art of timing. Robert Greene, master the art of timing for you when you want to do it and when it works better for you. Gym, for example, also, I don't mind going in the morning. I feel very good working out in the morning. I also feel very good going after work. It doesn't really affect me. I prefer to do it in the morning, just in case I need to do something after work. I'm free. Like, I'm done for the day, so I can meet people without
Yeah.
feeling that I'm missing my gym session, and feel bad about it. That's why I prefer to have it in the morning. So yeah, reading, for example, also. I don't like reading before sleeping because I feel that I get sleepy and I don't really take that much information as
Mm-hmm.
I need to. But I prefer
Mm-hmm.
reading in the morning, for example, before going to the gym, because once I wake up, I don't go directly. I need to drink like coffee or something like that. In the meantime, I would read something, for example. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if I cannot read in the morning, then I'm like, okay, I'm free during the weekend. On Saturday, I'm just gonna do 2 hours of reading. As much as I enjoy it, I don't mind going beyond time, um, as long as I'm receiving information. So yeah, just play around with things. You don't have to be extra strict. As long as you get the shit done and you do what you're supposed to do, then it's fine. Flexibility also helps when it comes to routines.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, I think like it's important to realize, I think, I think when we all started it, at least for me, I think I didn't really comprehend like um I didn't necessarily comprehend why I'm doing it, or like I was just like, oh, okay, meditation. For example, one of the early things I started was when it comes to morning routines, one of the things um I think the first time I got into it was meditation, actually. Um, I was meditating in the morning before going to class, and I was studying at the university at the time, and I got Sam Harris's app, Waking Up, and I was um, doing the lessons there every day, guided meditations, and I was doing them in the morning. I don't know why I chose to do them in the morning, but I guess I just thought, okay, morning is time for meditation. So I was doing them in the morning, and and I think in his narrations, in his guided meditations, he actually sometimes says that like take this moment to relax before you start your day. So he assumes that you're doing it before you're starting your day, which is also, I guess, why I did it. But I have also done it at night before bed. The bad thing about it is that you're sleepy, so it's a bit harder to focus and concentrate. But that's how, like, in the mornings, that's the first thing that I got into, and I didn't really comprehend why to do it, or like what are the benefits of doing it in the morning. I didn't really um have like a an idea about it, like a system or why I'm doing it. I just did it and it was cool. I think my main motivation was like I want to learn more about meditation. So like I want to do it. I want to try it. And I did it I was very consistent with it. And yeah, that's how I started. But I think one of the things that is important to do for our listeners, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you're thinking about having a morning routine, is to really think about, don't just take what we say and try to apply it. It can be cool. But even better is if you think about why you want to do it. And if you ask that question and you don't know the answer to it, it would be good to kind of ponder about that and to find out more about these practices that we're talking about. And if you look into their benefits, if you just learn in general about some of these things, you will start to understand what the benefits of them actually are. And that can be a motivation in itself, and not really even a motivation, but just a way uh, uh, just about a way to think about it. You're not mindlessly doing something because you heard about it. You actually know why you're doing it. I think it's getting to the why of it. Why are you doing it? And I think that in itself can be a huge motivating factor, because there are many different direct and indirect benefits of these things. So for example, for meditation, the great thing about it for me right now, I don't meditate in the morning. I just don't want to make it again. I don't want to I could substitute my breathing exercise with meditation. I don't want to just pack them all up in the morning. It's not, I don't really feel like it's going to be beneficial. But when it comes to meditation, for example, for me personally, I like these days, I just like doing them in moments of distress, or sometimes when it's like a particularly stressful moment. I I have found that it directly benefits me. I can calm down instantly. If I'm having a lot of thoughts in my head, that are just kind of going, circles, I can calm down very easily, and I can kind of relax and just realize that it's just thoughts. It's okay. They're gonna go away. We all kind of feel that. You feel, you on a subconscious level, even when you're distressed, you feel that these things are gonna go away, but your body's refusing to let go, your subconscious. So for me, it really helps meditation to kind of consciously or subconsciously to just let go. There's a really good practice called metta. It's a meditation practice. It's kind of like, I think it translates to love and kindness, and you're thinking about good things about other people. You wish them well, you wish them health, happiness, you imagine them happy. It's one of the best things when it comes to, for me at least, when it comes to the stressful moments, because it just shifts your subconscious to a more positive energy. So for example, so that's kind of the modification that I've made for myself when it comes to meditation. It might change in the future. Keeping it fluid is very important, I think. And my morning routine right now works for me, and I've made it that way. It might change. I might go for runs in the morning in a few months. Who knows? The idea is uh, it has to kind of serve a purpose for you. In the beginning, you try to do it because someone told it to you, so you're like, okay, I want to imitate that person, kind of. And it's I've noticed that in myself, where like I've done some things, like some morning routines, where like I heard someone talk about it, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it exactly as they do it. There can be an argument for that as well, actually, because it could help you for a month, maybe two. You will be motivated to do it, because you have that external motivation from that person that you watched, to do it, and you kind of imagining that it's like infusing you with power, like, okay, I am like this person. And it's like yeah, it could work, but it's external, it's not intrinsic motivating factor. And I think that's the main thing why people stop those routines and they don't stick to them, is that they fail to develop an internal motivation to do them, which is more like, we get back to the question of why you are doing it, not why someone told you to do it, but why are you doing it. And you need to keep, if you keep asking yourself why, you're eventually going to get to the core of it, you know. For example, for me, if I don't do them, I feel I just mentally feel worse throughout the day. That's just for me. And uh, that also means that I'm more flexible. I don't have to stick to one thing or another. It depends on my priorities and like my day, like my current condition. But I have to do something. I have to do meditation, whatever it may be. I have to get that in the morning, because it just makes me feel more confident. It makes me feel better throughout the day. And also, in general, I'm not someone who has a very good immune system. I can get sick fairly often. So for me, it helps me to at least maintain a normal functioning immune system when it comes to cold showers or breathing exercises. So those considerations kind of drive my choices in a way. You can see why I'm doing breathing exercises as opposed to just meditating. Um, so yeah, I think like thinking about, start from why, um, as Simon Sinek said. um, that will really help you to actually stay motivated. To there's also in neurolinguistic programming, NLP, that's how a lot of the things are done. Is you really have to um, subconsciously program yourself to do something, and it really helps to dig into yourself and um, really just ask yourself, why am I doing this? What will happen if I don't do this? Just cover those angles. It's like an easy framework, like why am I doing this? What will happen if I don't do this? What will happen if I do this? um, it helps you to map out this kind of landscape in your head. um, and it's kind of almost like a bit of like a story that you're making, like a story for yourself. What are you running from? What is the monster, right? What are you going towards? What is your ideal end state? um, that's at least two things that will keep pushing you either way, like to balance you. Yeah, that's what do you think about that, Mehdi? I had my second monologue now.
No, it was a good point. Obviously, you need to have a goal, and act accordingly. Like you design your morning habits based on the goal that you want to reach. And the goal doesn't have to be like a tangible goal, like maybe something like just spending the day in a good mood, for
Yeah.
example. Like what's gonna help me do that?
Yeah.
Okay, start the day. How can I start
Yeah.
the day? Um, one of the things that, like mostly when people think about the morning routine, they obsess about the cool things that they can do in the morning. But I think
Mm-hmm.
another way to approach the morning routine is also think about the things that you do and you should stop doing. So, for example,
Mm.
scrolling in the morning. Once you wake up, you check the messages, you check your emails, whatever. That's not a healthy morning routine, because you're just waking up.
Yeah.
You need some time to reflect and process the fact that you're waking up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to do next? Is it like wash your face or do something else? And then you just jump into your phone. You're probably
Mm-hmm.
gonna see something that you're not gonna like, and then it sets you in a bad mood from the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Even before the
Mm-hmm.
morning, you should also think about your environment before sleeping. So if your room is messy, you have clothes all over the place, once you wake up, you're not going to feel that motivated to do something if you feel that you live in a mess. So maybe also like making sure that your environment is good, your space is good. When you wake up, think about the things that disturb you and try to avoid them. If you cannot control yourself from checking the phone, maybe put the phone in somewhere else and have a manual alarm or something like that. That would help you to wake up without checking your phone, for example.
Mm.
Set some rules
Yeah.
for yourself, for example, like at least the first hour I'm not going to check my phone until I wash my face, sit a bit,
Mm-hmm.
reflect, meditate, journal, whatever your thing is. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to follow any technique per se. Also think about, like some small things, like if coffee makes you feel good in the morning, then make sure to drink coffee. Also sunlight, getting exposure to sunlight in the morning, that's very helpful. And it could be going for a walk, going for a run, or just sitting near the window or in the balcony for like 10 minutes. That it also helps set
Mm-hmm.
the mood. um so yeah, there are many things that
Definitely.
we do that if we stop doing in the morning, it's gonna make our day better. Like for example, hitting the snooze, for example. Just make sure that the
Yeah.
timing you wake up in is good. You don't have to
Yeah.
set 5 alarms until you finally wake up, because it starts the day in a bad mood already. So make
Yeah.
sure that you think about the best timing for you, the best things that you want to do in the morning, the things that you should stop doing in the morning, and hopefully you're gonna build your miracle morning routine.
Yeah. I really like that about what you trying to figure out what you don't want to do. Um, what you shouldn't do. Yeah, it's that's very, very, very good. One advice for the snoozing, by the way, there's I don't use it currently, but I have used it. It's cool. Um, I'm
Same.
not using it because I don't really uh what?
Same. I used it before. I think you're talking about
Oh,
Alarmy or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Alarmy. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't use it now, but I've used it and it's cool because if you really wanna, if you're someone who really like, I've never really had huge trouble with it, but if you're someone who keeps snoozing, like you just like it's extremely hard to wake up. Um, Alarmy is great because you could just set it up to where you can go and like take a photo of it or something. Like it's really good actually. That'll
We're
definitely
not
get you out of
sponsored.
bed.
We're not sponsored by Alarmy. We just tried it, both
Yeah,
of
we're
us.
not. But
And the cool
we
thing,
could be.
we could be. The cool thing about it is you can choose how to stop the alarm. So you can either scan a barcode,
Yeah.
you can set some steps that you need to do when you wake up. Um, what else? There's scanning a barcode, steps. I think maybe something else, like
Yeah.
reading for 10 minutes, or I think answering some questions for 5 minutes or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but
There's
there are
math
different,
questions.
exactly, there are different things that you can do to stop the alarm instead of
Yeah.
snoozing.
Yeah.
I think the barcode was the one that worked better for me, because my plan in the
Mm-hmm.
morning was to read. So I used to go to like the desk, hold the book, scan the barcode, and then it stops, and then I go wash my
Mm-hmm.
face and go back to read. So
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
small hack for the morning if you're struggling with the
Yeah.
snooze.
Yeah. Um, yeah, not doing like I think the first step if you want to like set up a good routine is to try to um try to do like an audit kind of as you said of your current what is your current behavior, because there's something that you're doing, right? For example, looking at your phone, um or snoozing, whatever it may be. If it's not a good environment to set a good morning routine, then you need to clean up the environment, right? So you can try to do that and get used to doing that, and then introduce behaviors to replace your old behaviors. And that could be a really successful way to actually change your routine, because you remove the old behavior, you replace it with the new behavior. And as you said, it could be very simple things like going out and looking at the sunlight, right? Or like even if there is no sun, look at the out of your go out in the balcony, or like look in the um, natural light, like not artificial lights. And Andrew Huberman talks about this a lot, and I'm sure almost everyone that I know who's into self-improvement one way or the other, they know about this Andrew Huberman thing with like um yeah, I get like sun exposure, natural sunlight exposure in the morning before you have coffee. I think he says 90 minutes
Yeah,
before after you wake up. In 90 minutes, don't have the coffee.
exactly. Yeah, 90 minutes.
And then yeah. um, uh, and I think those are really 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 good for a lot of people. Those things can be a huge game changer. And uh, yeah. uh, is there anything else you want to add, Mehdi?
Mm, yeah, there is actually something that helps me set a good mood in the morning. That maybe it's not a
Mm-hmm.
specific technique per se, or it's not something that you would watch in the morning routine videos. But there is a video. It's a compilation of Stoic quotes. It's like 15 minutes. When I'm taking my shower, I just play it, and it's a kind of reminders
Mm,
of the fact that you need to seize the day. Like all the
mm,
the best Stoic quotes by Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, or Seneca. And this video is amazing because
nice.
for me, when I'm taking my shower, I'm thinking about the day, and these quotes, they help you like reflect and think that you don't have control over everything. You need to be morally in check. There are many reminders, good reminders, to just set you for the day to have a good day. So again, if you get motivated by a motivational video, if you like hearing something in the morning, if there is specific music that sets you in good mood for the morning, again, make an audit, try to customize everything, do what works for you. And if you're not an early bird, then you don't have to wake up in the morning, as long as you do the work during the day or at night. It's not a hierarchy that makes people who wake up very early like the coolest ones. Just make
Yeah.
sure that
Yeah.
whatever you're doing is it's aligning with your goals and what you want to do during the day.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That's it for
Having
me. What
yeah,
about you?
doing positive things. Do, doing positive things is really, that's a really good point about uh doing something that you feel good about. Like um if it's all just like if it's all just negative, not negative, but like the things that you're not particularly excited about, or things that you're just like you feel like you have to do it, um it's just going to lower your motivation to the point where you're just not going to do this. Like you may do it in the first few days, but you're not going to keep going. So you either have to make it easier for yourself, or you have to make it more exciting, basically, so that you actually have motivation. And in that sense, doing those things that, as you said, like trying to figure out something that you like, have, like, for example, you like some, you can have some tea. If you like having warm tea in the morning, have a nice breakfast. You can be excited for to have a nice, like, you want, like, if you like reading, for example, and you like having a nice breakfast, why not combine those two? Get up a bit earlier, you'll be excited to have a good breakfast and read, and you're starting day in a really good mood, and you've read something that's amazing. So I think in thinking about it that way is really, really, is really useful, for sure. Yeah.
All right. I hope you got some good insights about building morning routines or having morning routines. If you're listening in the morning, then that's the best thing you can do in your morning. You prime the day with the Human Library podcast. Just joking, but
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and see you in the next one. And remember the name, the Human Library podcast.
See you guys. Share your morning routines in the comments.
Yeah, do that. See you in the next one.